What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to y'all with a quick video. Today we gonna talk about Luka Doncic, the guy that went number 3 in the draft, the guy that a lot of people said was the #1 overall player, the best player available, the best future, the best prospect, and a surefire thing. We heard so much praise and worship for Luka Doncic, and he warranted, because at the end of the day, he went out there and played basketball, dominated, won MVPs, won championships, and he's mature, he's cool, he's laid back, he's willing to learn, he's a sponge, and he's coachable. And those are the things that you want in a player, especially when they come overseas. You know, they gotta prove it all over again in the NBA. That's something that we all know. But the fact that he's coming in here knowing nothing makes him so good, because then you know you can get him to that other than the level that he hasn't hit. And as a person that personally felt that Doncic was the best player in the draft, I would say that he still is a project. He's probably more polished than a lot of other players, like let's say Bamba or Wendell Carter, or even people there like Colin Sexton. Those players are not where he's at right now. But I still feel like Luka Doncic has a lot of room for improvement, a lot of growth, and a lot more things that he can enhance and polish up a little bit more. He's not a finished product. He still is young, and he still has proven a lot, but he still has ways to go to get to where he really wants to be. I think that's something that's very underlooked when you hear things about Doncic. People make it seem like he's this complete finished product. He has this amazing game that we never seen before. And even though that might be true when you talk about the league that he plays in, he's coming to the NBA with better athletes, better defenders, better coaches, better scouting. And they're going to push him to the limits. They're going to challenge him. They're going to force him to get better. They're going to force him to adjust. They're going to force him to adapt. They're going to make him strive and want it, because he's going to fail time and time again. He's going to get beat up time and time again. They're going to put 30 and 40 on him time and time again. They're going to put him in those pick and rolls until he can show he can play defense. They're going to force him to take tough shots and settle. Is he going to be able to work on that? Is he going to get stronger? Is his jump shot going to get more wet? Is he going to find other ways to get buckets? The best part about it is he's playing with a Hall of Famer that was an offensive guy. I don't mean to disrespect Dirk Nowitzki, but he was mostly known as an offensive player, one of the most unstoppable moves and one of the most unstoppable players of this generation that we grew up on as being in the 90s. He has a guy that has became an MVP, has became a Finals MVP as the guy, and one of the best shooters ever, especially he's the best ever at his size. So at least he has a guy that can really show him the rope, show him the moves, sit down and watch footage, even though he do have a coach that can do that too, and Rick Carlisle, who's an offensive genius. And I know he's clamoring over this, because you get a guy like this that has unlimited potential, and he can shoot the basketball, handle the basketball, and play make, and all that goes into offense, and you look like, dang, we couldn't sign a free agent, we couldn't even get a superstar, to now we have the best prospect with a bright future still. And having all these players at his disposal, having Dennis Smith Jr., a guy that's still developing but shows promise as being one of the better point guards in the future, having a Harrison Barnes that can, score the basketball but also can handle the basketball and create his own shot, that gives him some help. Ain't like he's coming into an organization that doesn't have any pieces, that doesn't have anything. He's coming into an organization that has young pieces, that has veterans, and that has an owner that's willing to do whatever it takes for them to win. Even if that means trading for somebody, even if that means signing a free agent, he's willing to open those books up to make this team a championship contender. So you can say that Luka Doncic is great, but you got to look at it just like I said about Dennis Smith Jr. last year. It does matter where you're drafted at. And having the type of organization that he has that's all about winning and has shown a history of winning the last 20 years, even though they fell off a little bit, because what comes up must come down. And at the end of the day, getting a guy like Doncic is basically the thing that you will want. That's a dream that, Doncic falls to 3 and you're able to trade up and get him, and he's the best available player in the draft. So that don't really happen that often, especially with the type of talent that he brings to the table. So this is mostly like a dream come true. They've been trying to find that next guy. They've been trying to find the heir apparent to Dirk's throne, and they potentially have found that guy in Doncic. And it also helped Dennis Smith Jr. Allows him to play off the ball, allows him to get easier baskets because, like I said, Rick Carlisle is an offensive genius. Allows him to not have to force up shots, take tough shots, and carry the load. It's good to have that balancing act on your team. And as a player, I know that's too. That's the same thing I said with Devin Booker. He been getting toe up, he been getting beat up because he didn't have nobody else that can get buckets. Now that he has Ayton, he gets a lot of pressure took off of him. And it's good to have that, especially when you're playing against the best players in the league and the best coaches. It can be tiring. It can be frustrating, especially when you feel like you don't have the teammates that can go out there and contribute to winning. It can get depressing. It can get frustrating. You can be very angry at being in the NBA and miserable because of the losing, because of the media, because of, you're not living up to the expectations that you are given as being a lottery pick, especially in the top five. And honestly, like, only reason why I'm saying this is because I'd rather be in Dallas than in Memphis. I'd rather be in Dallas than be in Sacramento. I'd rather be in Dallas than be in Atlanta, just to be real. So I'm only saying all this to say Doncic fell into a good position. He might not have went number one. We all want to go number one as basketball players, whether we make it to the NBA or not, whether we make it to college or not, whether we make it to the G League or not, or even overseas. We want to be the number one pick, but it does have some type of things that I've been telling y'all over the years is sometimes you want to get the playing time. Sometimes you want to get up a lot of shots. Like Gordon Hayward went down, and that allowed Jason Tatum to shine, especially in the playoffs. If Gordon Hayward is healthy, we don't see what Jason Tatum did in the playoffs because he wouldn't even be starting it. And he wouldn't even get the touches even if he was starting. If Kyrie Irving didn't go down, we wouldn't have seen the Jason Tatum that we just seen because he wouldn't have to do all this. So stuff like this does matter. And this is the ideal situation for Dallas, and this is a great situation for Dennis Smith Jr. Honestly and truthfully, I think this was good for both sides. And the good thing about it is that at the end of the day, this guy looks amazing. And if he can continue to find ways to add more to his game and find ways to score, it's going to be a lot of pressure and a lot of hype. Like I said, I can't wait to see him in Summer League, but he also know that he's starting from rock bottom. He's not going to be the most accomplished. He's not going to be the most best player on the court anymore. That's all gone when he comes to the NBA. So at the end of the day, he's going to have to really put that work in. He's going to have to continue to strive for greatness, and he's going to have to continue to challenge himself and try to reach goals that may seem out of his reach, may seem out of his level, but he's going to have to get there and rank up and get it achieved. And with the coaching staff and the organization that he has and the young pieces that he has, this is a beautiful thing for him. And I don't really have nothing really negative to say about him. I don't really feel that he's not the right athlete. It's not really that many dominant shooting guards in the league, honestly and truthfully. It's not really that many explosive, athletic, scary shooting guards in the league. Now, if he was playing against small forwards, then it'd be different. Because then you got to go against Kawhi, LeBron, KD, Paul George. You got to go against those guys. And most of those guys are bigger and stronger than him. And that would be even tougher. But if he's going to play the two like everybody's starting to feel like he is, he don't really have that many threats at the shooting guard position. He doesn't really have that many players to even get scared about. You have DeMar DeRozan, Klay Thompson, and James Harden, and a couple other guys. None of those guys besides James Harden going to torture you. Klay Thompson plays off the ball majority of the time anyway. So all you have to do is really change, and then sometimes it's going to get switched anyway, or they're going to force some other actions. So DeMar DeRozan and James Harden are only really two isolation players that's going to tear you up every possession. Other than that, you should be fine. And he has the 6'8" body, so it ain't like he's 6'5", 6'4", 6'2". This guy is 6'8", so he's bigger than those guys and he's bigger than those guys, as in he's taller, because majority of those guys are 6'7" and below. So at the end of the day, he has that advantage going for him. He doesn't have the speed advantage, but he doesn't need it. But sometimes, like Dirk, like I said before, he wasn't the quickest and fastest guy, but he got to the paint, and he got to the free throw line, and he got buckets. And this is a guy that Dirk probably proud that he has. he sees this guy and he sees that he can really, have similar type of success as Dirk. When Dirk came in, he had a lot of pressure. He didn't really fit in. He wanted to give up. He didn't know how he was gonna make it. He didn't even know if he can score. He started putting that work in. He started having belief. He started putting a lot of pressure on himself, and he was able to go out there and become one of the best players in NBA history. And Doncic has a similar type of pressure, and he has a similar type of game, and he has a lack of athleticism for the position, and he has a chance to really go out there and become what we feel like he can become, but also what he wants to become, and that's an important thing. So he might not be a franchise guy right away. He might not be the best player on the court right away. But it's all about development. It's all about time, and it's all about understanding. And if he's able to do those three things, he should be able to get to where he wants to go. Because the media always gonna have a gripe, whether he wins a championship or loses in the finals or never win an MVP. They always gonna have something to say. They always gonna have something negative to say, and they always gonna have something that they don't agree on, whether if he wins or not. Because if he wins 3 rings, they're gonna say 4. If he wins the MVP, they're going to say, can he win another one? So at the end of the day, you're never going to be happy, satisfied, chasing what people want you to be and what they want you to do and how they want you to play. You have to know your identity. You have to know what you can do. You have to know your limitations, but you also have to push yourself to get to your goals. And I think that Doncic is a guy that's humble, that's cool, that has a lot of potential, but also has a lot of strengths that is rare for his age, especially with accomplishments. And he's going to an organization that can get the best out of him, and that's about winning. And that's as good as you can get if you're not the number one pick. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. At the end of the day, like on Facebook to show support. Check out the website to show support. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think. Is Luka Doncic going to be the franchise guy? Is he overhyped? Is he overrated? Is he underrated? Do you think he should have went number 1? Do you think he can be better than Dirk? Can you think he can challenge Dirk for that spot? At the end of the day, it's all fun and games with this guy Luka Doncic to me, but he coming in with a lot of pressure and a lot of hype. He might never silence it, but all he can do is go out there and give it his all. And at the end of the day, that's good enough for me. That's why I got respect for him.